Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show on this Tuesday. It is August 18th, 2020. We are live from the Eden Prairie. Thank you so much for being here. I'm back in studio again after my post-travel isolation. And joining me, now I'm back from vacation, but now Kendall is on vacation. But I'm delighted to look across the studio and see our old friend Shane Wells. Good morning, Shane.
Good morning. Yeah, you guys didn't time that well.
No, we did not. We did not. I know I get an email, and you always know, and you're going to be with me, you always know your vacation is coming to an end when the work emails start coming through. You know what I mean? I like Thursday, Friday, and executive producer Jeff is respectful. You know, he'll send a text, don't worry about this. I know.
Heads up.
Just a heads up. When you come back, Kendall's gone.
Kendall's
you know what I mean? Yeah.
For the week.
Yeah, and then the radio show, I got a whole bunch of things, and I'm like, then you start realizing vacation is over.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to see you. We talked yesterday, but you and I were texting after the show. There's a big difference between here live and then the delay that we had yesterday for the show when I was wrapping up my quarantine there.
I felt bad for you because you have the delay on your end, but I don't have it as much on my end. And you can't, I kind of didn't realize this, and people at home probably don't either. You don't see anything.
No.
Like you can't physically see what we're talking about.
No. I had a screen for the Jill Zarin interview. Producer, I had that up. Yeah, but other than that, no. I had a little teleprompter, but yeah, it was like Pioneer TV. Yeah, so it was like churning butter during the, yeah. Speaking of vacation, I saved, you know, I love to try to make you laugh, and I loved vacation stories. I discovered a thing that I didn't know was a thing in my vacation, and it boggled my mind. We had to make, and coming up in a little bit, actually, I will tell you, I can be overly dramatic, I know.
No.
But I will tell you, I had one of the top 5 days of my life during this trip, and I'll tell you why coming up a little bit. But on the way to get to or after this thing, we stopped to see our friend Hey Haley in Nevada, in Vegas, where her sister lives. So Hey Haley was running late, so we had to check into a hotel. So I'm walking down the strip, which looks like the end of a Will Smith movie because nobody's there.
Oh.
There's like a tumbleweed, and there's like 4 couples. But what I discovered, there's a new thing. Perfectly, and I was trying to figure out a way to, perfectly healthy people renting mobility scooters. That is a thing now all over Vegas. We were there for a very short amount of time. We wanted to get out of there. But we were there, the whole time we were there, perfectly healthy. And I know what you're thinking, Jathan, how do you know they're healthy? I could tell by the 48-ounce daiquiri they had in their hand while they're driving the mobility scooter.
Wait, so they're driving the scooters with pedestrians while holding one of those giant drinks?
This one guy, as we're walking down, going, I didn't know they could go this fast, going 62 miles an hour. And he's doing wheelies and doing donuts on, yeah. And I looked at Colin and I go, is this a thing?
Are they in helmets?
No. And they're holding, you know, those big daiquiris you get in Vegas. They're holding the steering wheel in one hand, and they're sipping like. And so we saw one couple, and then we saw 2 people, then we saw 3, 4. We weren't there very long. Colin counted. We saw. Are you ready? 43 different people.
No.
43, because he knew I was going to tell the story. We kept counting, and again, I know you can't always tell. Maybe someone has a leg problem, whatever. Believe me when I tell you, these people did not need mobility scooters. And as we got ready to leave Vegas, there was a truck. Our Uber pulled up, and my Uber pulled up. I got in the Uber, and I looked in front of me. There was a short semi, dropping off more mobility scooters, and there were couples in line to get them.
So are these are the sick kind, right?
Yes!
So do they not have the other scooters that like we have that are controversial?
No, they just have these like the Lark, like the mobility scooters, and I thought, aren't you taking them away from people who really need them? That's what I thought.
That is a woman who wore the wrong shoes on day one and has blisters all over her feet and wants to keep the party going.
Yeah. This is my favorite thing. Anyway, it's crazy.
Wow.
Didn't know it was a thing.
Nope.
Things you learn on vacation. Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. Shane, I'm looking at myself in the monitor. I still got a little bit of a tan left. I'm happy about that.
Yep.
A little bit, oh, that's good, yeah. Well, after a month of turmoil, changes are coming to The Ellen Show amid allegations of a toxic work environment. 3 producers on the show have been fired. The exits were revealed during a staff Zoom meeting yesterday. Oh. Here's the bad news. You're on a staff Zoom meeting. Here's the really bad news. You're fired. Yesterday, Ellen vowed to create a culture where people feel good and interact with staffers more. Following an internal investigation, Warner Brothers, they're the big wigs that own the show, didn't find a racist work environment, but did uncover occasional incidents of racial insensitivity. The show's in-house DJ Twitch, I love Twitch, has been named a co-executive producer. So 3 of the executive producers are out. Twitch is in. Let me just ask you, you and I haven't talked about this. In a broad sense, because every day there's a new story, do you think she's going to be able to recover from this?
Honestly, no. Like, when you have that nice gal attitude and her whole focus is giving and making people happy and joyful, but now we kind of know the ugly truth.
Yeah.
It's hard. You can't watch her be fake now. It's like kind of Rosie O'Donnell style when she had her.
Yeah, she was the Queen of Nice.
Yeah.
She was on Newsweek, the Queen of Nice. So when you have your brand based on that, and it starts to get nicked and bumped a little bit, it's hard to recover, you know?
I don't know how the show comes back. Like, in what way does it come back?
The only thing I will say is, the only thing that irritates me is we love to watch, we love to build people up, and then we love to tear them down. And we're getting to a period of this story now where it's just pile on. And what I mean by that is, on vacation, I was reading the story of like, a high school friend of hers who she was mean to one day. And I thought, okay, now we're grasping at straws. Yeah. The legitimate complaints about Ellen, absolutely investigate. Are some of these stories true? Absolutely. But now we're just looking for dirt. You know what I mean? And then there was a woman that was on the show in the audience. She played a game and she was like, Ellen is very quiet during the commercial breaks and she doesn't talk to anybody. And I got to tell you, knowing something about this show, I've gotten those emails from people that have sat in our audience that have, I've maybe 2 or 3 that have said, "Oh, you're very quiet. You're not very nice during commercial breaks." And I mean this. You may not like the answer, but that's part of the job. I mean, sometimes the producers are talking to you during the commercial. My point is, it's not a whiny thing. My point is, those types of things, I think it's just unnecessary. It's a pile-on that we don't need.
Yeah, unless you know how it works. And you, too, you're preparing for an interview. You're trying to make sure you know who's coming up next, what's happening next. So you have a lot in your head.
Well, you're nice. I'm just ignoring Jeff, really. I mean, during the commercial breaks, I'm ignoring what I'm being told. But yeah, he's right there. It's fine, yeah.
You're going to get no more applause button for the rest of the show.
Well, no, he's not even hitting it anymore. No. Next in the dish, Tiffany Haddish has a new look. Last night on Fallon, she talked about why she made the change. Look at this.
My man cut it for me last week. I'm like cutting it every 2 weeks.
Is this something you always wanted to do?
Well, yeah, I always wanted to do it. For years, I've been talking about cutting my hair. And, you know, this whole quarantine and everything made me think like, well, why not now? I'm not going to be on any red carpets. And if I do have to be on something, they always put me in wigs anyways. And the wigs sit better. And so I was just like, yeah, let's just go for it. And I did it online so everybody could see, because I wanted to know what I look like from my head to toe. Like, who am I from head to toe? Wow. You know, every religion talks about knowing thyself. And I know where all my moles are, except for the ones that were on my head. And now I know I got 2 moles on my head. And it's a little wrinkly in the back.
A little wrinkly. It's good to know where your moles are. That's right. By the way, Tiffany's new man is rapper Common. They make a great couple. Tiffany is nominated for an Emmy for her new stand-up special, Black Mitzvah, which is available on Netflix. And we were just saying this as that clip was rolling. Let's just be honest. Some people have a good melon. Yeah. They can shave their head and be beautiful. Others, I could never be. Please, Lord. I don't think I would look good bald.
You really are owning your Fisher-Price haircut, as you call it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think, yes, stick with that.
No, you have a good-shaped melon. I think you would look good bald. I do.
I don't know like she said, I don't know what's going on under there.
I'm imagining
you take it away and you're like, well, what is that thing?
You have like, your head's a good-shaped head, if I may give you that compliment. Yeah.
No one's ever said that before.
Yeah, you do. You have a good-shaped melon. They know how to grow those women in Waka Waka, Washington.
Nailed it.
I see. I haven't said Waka Waka. It's been a long time since I said. Shane's from Waka Waka, Washington, and it's not really Wakatuki. What is it? Where is it?
Wakatuki?
Where
So
are you?
I think you're thinking of Walla Walla, but I'm from Wenatchee. So you somehow put those together. It's close enough.
She's making words. These aren't real places. Next in the dish, Gayle King appeared on Drew Barrymore's online talk show, The Art of the Interview. And she dropped some surprising news about her friend, Oprah Winfrey. Look at this.
Way back when Oprah had her show and she was talking about giving the show up because she wanted to go into acting. She wanted to act full time because she loved acting. So her plan was, you move to Chicago and we'll incorporate you in the show so that at the end of the year, then I can sort of pass the baton. And I was really, imagine a huge opportunity. I was really excited about that. And the kids were, we were divorced, so they were still young. And then I realized that wouldn't be fair to them, that wouldn't be fair to them. It would be great for me, be really great for me, but that wouldn't be fair to them. And so in the end,
So Gayle passed, but it all worked out in the end. Gayle actually did get her own talk show in like 97, 98 called The Gayle King Show. Didn't run long. That is surprising. You know me, I can't tell you where, Uzbekistan is, but I can tell you everything about Oprah. I remember the 93, 94 season of Oprah. I'm shocked that she really was getting ready to leave the show. It was in its prime back then. It was like firing on all pistons.
It's interesting. Yeah. So even, I got to be honest with you, I didn't hear a word Gayle said because I was looking at her house.
Oh.
This is the problem with the in-home interviews. I was just like looking around.
Waka Waka, that was Oprah's house.
Wait, she was in Oprah's house?
Yeah, Gayle was in Oprah's California house doing CBS This Morning.
See how distracted, so she's living with her?
Well, she was. Now Oprah kicked her out. I mean, and then now she's back in New York doing CBS.
I'm sure her house is perfectly acceptable.
But Oprah, have you ever seen Oprah's house in California?
No.
Oh, Google it. It is stunning. Yeah, that and her place in Maui, which Oprah, it's up a hill, and Oprah had a road built to go up the mountain.
Road.
Yeah. I stood at the gate. There's like a little fence when I was in Maui a couple years ago, and there's a picture of me just screaming, Oprah. She didn't hear me.
Security come get you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Still ahead, we're checking in with Variety correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister on the latest on the Bachelorette drama. Plus, James Corden takes a trip to the break room. And in the days we're living in, it's not as easy as it sounds. And then one of the Twin Cities top chefs and one of our favorite guests, he's back. And he's opening up his first restaurant. We'll chat with our good buddy, Yivang, a little bit later. Stay with us, everybody. Back in a moment. Good to be back.
Much better than...
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of annoying dealing with all the new safety precautions just to get a snack.
It's the only way to do it. We've got to get used to a new way of doing things. Everybody is doing, look, it's going to be like this for a while.
Yeah, but it's just kind of a hassle,
Do you know what? What do you want? I'll go. I'll get it for you.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I'll take a bag of chips or something.
Bag of chips? I'll do it. Not a problem. Now, give me a minute. I've just got to follow the... Okay, so I've got to... Okay. 1 minute. This will be fine. Okay. There you go. See? Not so bad, was it? Just a few extra precautions make everybody feel a little bit safer. There you go, buddy. Woo!
Oh, these are cheese flavored. I wanted sour cream and onion.
Yeah, that's what you have to do now to get a snack in the break room. James Corden taking a few extra precautions when going to the break room. I get it. Having just traveled, I did 40 extra steps. I mean, I have never been so clean in my life. I sanitized every 2 seconds.
You're not the only one.
Oh, no,
yeah.
I was, like Mr. Clean. More late night for you. Reese Witherspoon was on Kimmel last night, and guest host Kerry Washington asked her about her first side hustle. Look.
I started my first business, other than like a lemonade stand, was in the 3rd grade. My brother bought banana clips at the mall, and I would personalize them with people's names. He was like, "Sister, we can get great margins on this if I buy them for 25 cents and then we sell them for $1 if you just do paint pens and put their name on it. And the paint pens aren't as expensive. And I had a whole thing going in 3rd grade, and then I got shut down. And I didn't get suspended, but I had to stay after school because I got paint pen all over my desk and I got in trouble for defacing school property.
Wait, and that began Reese's life of crime. Speaking of side hustles, Reese's production company, Hello Sunshine, has 18 Emmy nominations this year. Did you do anything illegal in high school, Shane? Anything in college we should know about?
Not that I want to say on air.
Okay, let me know in the
Move
commercial
along.
break. More hot dish. More hot dish for you this morning from our good friend, and I love her title. It's very fancy. Senior correspondent for Variety. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our good friend, Elizabeth Wagmeister. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, how are you? Greetings from New York.
Greetings from New York. By the way, congratulations. We just had it in our hot dish. To you and your colleagues, Variety had the big scoop on Ellen with the producers. Y'all are well sourced there at Variety.
We do have our sources. We work hard. Our newsroom, this pandemic has not caused our newsroom to slow down at all.
Well, the first story, producer Ted's going to love, what's going on with The Bachelorette. And JoJo, the former Bachelorette, is actually taking over for Chris Harrison. What?
I know, right? It seems like this season just can't get crazier. And this is so cheesy. Chris Harrison always says the most dramatic season ever. But it really is, Jason, and I've been covering this show for a long time. So we've heard all the rumors on set with Tasia coming in and Claire, and The Bachelorette is being swapped. Well, now the hosts are being swapped, but don't worry, Chris Harrison is not out of a job. Don't feel too bad for him. This is what happened. So Chris Harrison, like every other normal parent, he went to drop his kid off at college. His son is going to school in Texas. So when he left the set, nobody gets to avoid the rules of a quarantine to keep production safe. So Chris Harrison had to go into a 14-day quarantine because production right now, they're all filming at a private resort. They're all essentially filming in a bubble. They're living on set. They're being tested regularly. They're getting temperature checks. So Chris Harrison left. He came back, went into a quarantine, and they brought in someone right from the family, JoJo Fletcher, the former Bachelorette from 2016. She's done some hosting work since leaving the show. So she is going to host a few episodes, but just a few. So Chris Harrison is still the main host, but this is the first time in Bachelor franchise history, the show's been on for almost 2 decades, that Chris Harrison has not hosted every single episode.
And Elizabeth, this season is getting a lot of headlines. What else is happening? I mean, every time, and I don't love this show, honestly, but every time I turn on Variety, there's another story. What else is happening?
So first, honestly, I do love the show, and I have to admit that it has always been my guilty pleasure. And look, now it's worked for me as well. So that has worked out. But to answer your question, what isn't happening on this season is really my answer. So Claire Crawley, if you like the Bachelor franchise, you know that she originally was on Juan Pablo's season. Well, she was the Bachelorette. She was originally cast. Well, she ended up falling in love early throughout the season, and it appears that the producers came to the decision that it doesn't make sense to continue with her journey because she already found love, which is the point of the show, other than ratings and entertainment, of course. So they brought in another alum, Tasia Adams, who now she's going to be the Bachelorette, but she's not completely replacing Claire. You're going to see Claire's journey play out on the show and Tasia's journey play out. So double Bachelorettes, double hosts. This season is just crazy. Not to mention, as we spoke about, they're filming in a bubble, quarantined during a pandemic. So, I mean, like I said, the drama just you can't write this stuff, Jason. You can't even script this. You
love the show. Elizabeth, who's been your favorite and who's your least favorite that you, as just a fan, take off your journalist hat, who's your favorite and least favorite?
So I have to say, I think my favorite is Trista. She was the first Bachelorette, like the OG, and I've interviewed her over the years, and it's just actually really kind of neat that she is like the queen bee of this franchise. So she's probably my favorite. I think I can't off the top of my head pick a least favorite, but I was really disappointed in Peter's season, which is the most recent season.
Yes.
I just thought that ended up, it was such a bust. It didn't work out for anyone. I loved Peter when he was a contestant. I thought as The Bachelor, he was boring. And I wanted Mike Johnson to be The Bachelor. And I recently interviewed Mike as well. And we spoke all about the diversity issues with the franchise. So I had a very good conversation with him recently. And that piece is on Variety now, Jason.
Imagine that. I love it. Our good friend, Elizabeth. Thank you. I so appreciate it.
I love you. Love coming on your show, Jason.
Love you. Follow Elizabeth on social media. Just search for E. Wagmeister. Shane, you and Ted are our resident Bachelor experts. Do you agree with the best-worst pick there, her opinion?
I think best would be JoJo. She was my favorite. And worst, I would go Hannah. Honestly, I wasn't a big Hannah B fan.
Oh, okay.
I know that's a little divisive.
No, I get it. No, I watched it because of the show.
Because you're forced.
Yeah. Next in the dish, the show that got everyone's quarantine off on the right foot could be coming back for a second season. Tiger King could get another season. I don't know how we're going to do this. Insiders say Joe Exotic has agreed to take part in the series from prison. Carol Baskin is reportedly asking for $1 million. Hello, all of you cool cats and kittens. She wants $1 million to participate, which she says she would invest back into her big cat rescue sanctuary. No, she wouldn't. Let's just be very clear. That is a lie. She is not sure you're going to invest that back into the cats.
She has to say that.
Gonna get the kitties some better ground chuck. No. No. Did you see Carol Baskin weighed in on that Cardi B song?
Wait, on
she weighed in on the new Cardi B that we will not talk about. I know. Why do you think it's so good to be back? I can see his face. He's literally
and
sweating.
The motions.
But she weighed in on.
What did she have to say?
She just, I don't like it. It's inappropriate. And Cardi B wrote back one little line. So what? You killed your husband.
Mic drop.
Bloop. Yeah. Next in the dish, the fall roster for Dancing with the Stars is starting to come together. GMA revealed who the pros will be for the new season. Woo! The show will have its first ever black female pro, 3 married couples, and our favorite, Alan Burstyn, new this season. All pros must live apart. That's new. Even if they're married, they have to live apart. This would prevent 2 pros from getting eliminated should one get sick with the COVID. So far, we only know one of the celebrities that's going to participate, and that's former Bachelorette Caitlin Bristow. Bristow.
Yeah. And she's a dancer, so she'll be good.
I'm curious. I'm curious about the season because we got Smize hosting, we got Tyra, and then all of these. And is there going to be a co-host, or is it just going to be Tyra the whole time?
All we've heard is Tyra.
Yeah.
And I know 2 of the pros, Lindsay and Whitney, are both pregnant, so they're out, but they've been there forever. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. And we were talking about like how Big Brother, everyone can live in this house and like be in a bubble together. But like you said, do these couples have to live together that are dancing together?
I don't know.
Because they can't, or they have to live separately?
I think they have to live separately because if one gets sick, I think so.
Because this dancing's up in here.
Yeah, right. There's all sorts of aerosols. Yeah. All sorts of aerosols.
So, yeah.
That's why Jeff and I, we live in separate rooms at the Howard Johnson's. We rented a Jason show Howard Johnson. That's right. That's how we're here. Still ahead, everybody. We're going to recap. I'll recap a very special part of my vacation. But next, he opened up a restaurant in the middle of a pandemic. We're chatting with chef and our good friend Yivang when we return. Stay with us, everyone. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Well, our next guest was on our show for the first time back in February and quickly became one of our favorites. Now, Chef Yivang is ready to open his first standalone restaurant. Joining us live via Zoom to talk about that and more is our good friend, the great Chef Yivang. Good morning, friend.
Hey, Jason. How are you, man?
I'm great. I got to tell you, when I see headlines about people that are on our show and have become friends, my heart races. And when I saw the news about you and your restaurant, it made me so happy because it really couldn't happen to a better guy. Tell everybody about the place, Ia.
Yeah. So the new brick and mortar is called V9, And the name Vinay is actually named after it is named after the refugee camp that my family was in. And I was born in there in 84, and my parents met there in 77, 78, and then they got married, and then we left in 88 to come to America, and then we actually landed here in the Twin Cities. So the name of itself has a very special place to our family's heart, and then also to our people.
I was going to say, and you illustrated this to our audience so well the last time. Opening a restaurant like this is it's a real personal experience, right, Ia?
It is, because it's kind of like, the idea of just, an idea of a restaurant or a new endeavor, it started out as kind of like a whisper in your head, And when things are like in your head and you just think about it, it can't fail. But the moment you actually start speaking about it, and the moment you start putting it on paper and you start getting people around, there's that fear of like, oh my gosh, like this could fail. So yeah, it is very personal. And for me, I've told people that Vinay, the restaurant, it's a love letter to my mom and dad. And it's what it is. It's going to be this anthem to them of all their sacrifices, everything they've given up, everything that they've given up for us as the children. And so I want to be able to put that all in one restaurant. Yeah.
What's in the love letter, my friend? What are we going to be eating there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the recipes will be inspired by my mom and dad's table. But one of the things that I love talking about is the fact that we're really trying really hard to get a wood fire grill inside the restaurant, because that's how my dad first taught me how to cook, is just cooking over wood fire, and letting kind of the wood do a lot of the speaking. And then we'll be serving all this kind of sauces that my mom makes for us. And so, yeah, so definitely all of that. And then we also we're working on this drink program where it's really fun, where we're using all these little drinks, all these different kinds of drinks and kinds of cocktails that as kids, like all these flavors that we knew growing up as like little Hmong kids who would go to the Asian market and get all these different kinds of drinks. So yeah, so we want to play on those.
Yeah. What's the challenges? Because I don't need to tell you this. We see the headlines every day. The pandemic and the economic repercussions are hitting the restaurant industry particularly hard. What are the challenges you're facing opening a brick and mortar in the environment that we're in right now?
Yeah, dude, it's probably the same kind that you have your own place too, so it's probably like the same stuff you're going through.
Yeah.
One of the things that I started realizing is that I had two choices. We can either sit here and mope and be like, oh, poor us, the pandemic, and I do get that there's this time of grieving, and there is this time where we have to kind of see our reality, but then we have to kind of come together and move forward. It was something my father has always taught me. He would always say that there's no problem that you can't, that's big enough that you can't work the problem and keep moving forward. Vinay, the refugee camp, actually was a symbol of hope for our people. Like I remember my mom would tell me stories about when they would hear stories about Vinay when they were in Laos and say, hey, if we can get to Vinay, we can be safe. And somehow in the last 4 or 5 months, Vinay, the restaurant, has become the symbol of hope for us, our team, where of this idea of better things are yet to come, and that's what we really think about. And that's what I think about is there's a lot of issues. We could sit here and break down all the financial stuff. We can break down everything. But at the end of the day, we need that hope. And if we don't have that, I think that it really just, as in our souls, it kind of starts dying. So we look at Vinay, the restaurant, as a symbol of hope for us to keep moving forward. And I love that, again, like I said, this is a love letter to my mom and dad. So knowing all the things that they've done to get us here, all the things that they had to go through to get us here, that's hope for me.
Yeah, I know one of the parts of the concept that was really important to you was communal dining. That's obviously going to probably have to be put on hold, but can you explain what that is and what your desire was with that?
Yeah. So here's the thing, Jason. We in the way that we design, our architect designed the place. We have this big 10-top table. It's a 10-top table there. And somebody asked me, "Hey, should we remove that 10-top table so we can put smaller tables there? So it's social distancing." And I was like, "No, we're not going to do that. That table. One of my college buddies is building that table for us." I'm like, we're not going to do that. We're going to put that table there. We're going to decorate that table. We're going to put a great centerpiece on it. And again, like I said, it's going to be a symbol of hope of the great things that are going to come. So I don't want to compromise on that, Yeah, maybe we'll lose a little money in there because that space won't be taken up. But I want that to be a beacon for others to say that we will dine together again. We will come and sit around the table and eat again. And so that's kind of like my stubbornness, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way of like moving forward, like
yes.
I want people to come in to eat with us. And then when they see that, they're like, hey, like that's where we want to be. That's where we want to go. That's the direction we want to go.
That's why we love you. You don't compromise. You can learn more about Vinay at the website, vinay.mn.com. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. Okay, so he is going to stick around after the break. He's sharing his recipe for sweet and spicy cucumber salad. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this, everyone. Welcome back. We're chatting with our friend Chef Yivang, who was just named the best chef in City Page's Best of issue, and he joins us again to show us how to make sweet and spicy cucumber salad. Okay, this sounds really good. I didn't eat a big breakfast, so I'm starving. So this is killing me. Make it for us, my friend.
Yeah, Jason, this is a great dish to do, especially in the summer when it's really hot. It's really refreshing, and you don't need to turn on any ovens or anything. Okay, so what we're using is Hmong cucumbers. Now, Hmong cucumbers, you can use regular cucumbers. Hmong cucumbers are a little different. They're a little bigger, and they're like a cross between like a honeydew melon and a cucumber. So it's got a little bit of tardiness to it. So you can go to any Asian market, you'll find these. And right now, if you have a Hmong grandmother or Hmong mom like I do who's growing it, you just get it out of their garden. But yes, I don't know. It's funny because I was like, Mom, go grab me a couple. She's like, okay. And so you can totally do that. So Hmong cucumbers, that's what we're using. Again, if you want to use regular cucumbers, you can. We just skin it, and then we take out all the seeds from the inside. And then what we do is then, since after we take out all the seeds, we just kind of, I have a little piece here, and then you're just kind of run your knife through it, and then you want to kind of make these kind of bias cuts, and then real simple. And then go grab that, just throw that in your bowls, get some cilantro, salt, some cherry tomatoes, and then you just set that aside. Now, the next thing you do is in this pestle and mortar, what we do is we make the little sauce that goes with it. So I started with some shallots, some Thai chilies, some garlic, and then you mash that up, and then it gets into like almost a paste, a little salt in there. And then you get some tamarind concentrate. Throw a little bit of tamarind and concentrate in there. If people aren't familiar with tamarind, it's like super tardy. So you need something to balance that. So you can either use simple syrup or honey. So I use honey in there. So that's where you have your sweet and sour. You get some fish sauce in there, and then you get some lime juice. Squeeze some fresh lime juice in there. And then once you get that, you kind of mash it around, and then you get this really deep, rich sauce in there. And so once we get here, it's pretty simple. You take your cucumbers, your cherry tomatoes, your cilantro, a little salt in there. We just toss this right in. Once we have that, you want it to cover. So you just want to dress it. You want it to cover. And for me, I know that cucumbers, really what it does is it dilutes the sauce a little bit. So I just want to throw a little bit of salt in there.
Yeah.
And you can make this 15 minutes before your guests arrive or for your house, because if you do it too early, it'll get super watery. So you want this real fresh. Okay. And then we have a bowl here, and then you throw it in. And then then we can dress it up a little bit here. So you want everything's very soft. So we want some texture. So we have some fried shallots. People get kind of bougie and fancy, so they'll make their own fried shallots. You can totally do that if you want. Or you can go to the Asian market for $1.89 and just get your own. I jokingly say, and I do honestly mean that this is the Hmong way. Like work smarter, not harder. So, you throw a little bit of fried shallots in there. And then what I really love is I love the creaminess and also just that kind of nuttiness from peanuts. So
yes.
Throw some peanuts on top. Throw some peanuts on top of that. And then, if you want to upcharge an extra $5, you get some cilantro. You put it right in the center there.
Is that
lime in here?
Yeah, is that $5 worth of cilantro right there?
it's an upcharge. It's not necessarily $5, but it's since you make it look real nice. I mean, you have a biscuit place. You know how to
I know about the upcharge, but if I come in, can I get the $3 cilantro, please?
Yeah, I mean that's probably like 2 strands.
Okay.
But this is this is a little upcharge here.
Okay.
Make it look. All the little doodads, as one of my buddies says.
Yeah, everybody in the studio is loving those cucumbers. When you were describing the flavor, can I ask you though, because I'm always trying to think about what people are at home trying to do this recipes thinking, do they peel like a normal cucumber?
It's literally like a normal cucumber.
Okay.
It again, the flavor is incredible. So what we still do, and as kids, is you just cut it in half and you scrape everything out, almost like a gazpacho, and you put a little sugar in it, a little honey in it, and that was kind of our quote unquote dessert. Well, it's super refreshing. If you juice it and get all the water out of that cucumber, it's great if you're making cocktail like mojitos. It's great for that. Again, it's not super sweet. It's a little tardiness, and so that a part of it is amazing. So if you go to like farmers market, or if you go to Asian markets, ask for Hmong cucumbers. They're incredible. And again, if you don't have one, find yourself a Hmong grandmother or Hmong mom who has a garden. Go grab it from their garden.
We will. We got to go, my friend. I just want to say publicly again, I'm so proud of you. All of this success couldn't be happening to a better guy. Continued success.
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Look for Yivang's new restaurant, Vinay, opening next spring in Northeast Minneapolis. Until then, you can get his food via takeout at Union Hmong Kitchen outside of Sociable Cider Works. Go to unionkitchenmn.com. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after. That is the ending of one of the most iconic openings in TV history, featuring the famous South Fork Ranch outside of Dallas, Texas. Welcome back. You all know, if you've spent any time watching this show or listening to the radio show, you know my love for the TV show Dallas. Well, I got the surprise of a lifetime during my recent time off. It was my birthday, and we were going to do one thing, and then we diverted to another, and I found out that we had rented out the South Fork Ranch for the day and night. So we had the ranch, the real ranch,
whole thing
in Parker, Texas. Yeah, Plano, Parker, Texas, to ourselves for Saturday into a Sunday, and I couldn't believe it. And if I took some pictures. We're gonna flip through these. I'll tell you, these I took with my fancy camera. First, here's video. I shot this. This is out. See that driveway we just showed you in the credits? Look how much the trees have grown since then. This is outside what they call Gate 3, the famous South Fork Ranch opening there. There's the plot. It's 243 acres, Shane, is South Fork Ranch. And it's a real ranch. It's a real working ranch with horses and cattle. And now let's flip through some pictures here that I have that I took with my camera. And you can see my shadow. Look at me. I got to tell you, there's nothing more beautiful than a Texas sunset. And as you can see, this is right at sunset. This is looking straight on at the ranch. This is at night. Look how beautiful that sunset is, Shane. That's the famous swimming pool at South Fork. There was a famous cliffhanger on the show where there was a dead body back there, and you had to guess who it was. Yes, I did recreate that, and that video will never see the light of day. Here's Colin and I swimming in the pool. My family asked if security knew we were there, and but they did. So we were enjoying the pool. There's that balcony is right off the master. And there I am right before we went to bed at around midnight. Colin went away and I was all by myself. And I got to tell you, I've said this before. And again, if you've watched the show, you know this. I welcome you to laugh at me. It is goofy that I'm so obsessed with the show. But if you know why that meant so much to me. The show was connected to my grandma Mazak, my mom's mom, who was kind of the first person to really let me be me. Didn't judge me and realized that I was goofy. I mean, I was 8 years old when other kids were playing. I was inside watching Dallas with her on Friday nights. And she was my everything. And I lost her in '98 before any of this happened. And she really nurtured my love of TV. And I watched the show with her, my whole life, the rest of her life. So to sit there at the ranch that I've watched all by myself, to sit there at that ranch that I've watched for 30 some years, I just kind of took it in. Colin left me alone, and I was just in the pool, and it was just probably one of the most precious moments of my life, if I may say so. I just kind of looked around, and I was talking to her, and I just said, "Look at this, Grandma. I mean, look at this," because she loved that show, and it, rubbed off on me, and it was amazing. It was. I don't care how long I live. It'll be one of the most special days of my life. And we were there, and they made you dinner, and then you got to walk around. It's a beautiful ranch, Shane. It's like, again, 243 acres. The house, if you ever wondered, is not as big as it looks on TV. Colin measured it. Of course he did. Colin measured it. And it's just under 4,000 square feet. There are houses in Minnetonka that are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was built in the 70s by a gentleman named Mr. Duncan. It was called Duncan Farms, and then CBS came and said, "We want to shoot this show here," and they changed the name to South Fork. And the family lived there for the first 5 years of the show, but they got sick of people walking up that driveway, knocking on the door and going, "Is JR home?" So they moved in '85 because they got sick of it, and now it's owned by a resort company. So,
well, I'm worried for you because, this was, tippy top. Like, how do you top this now for the rest of your birthday?
You don't. I mean, this is it. I mean, I'm a lucky guy. I don't take it. I'm a lucky guy in that. I knew my grandma was there, and it was great. This is it. I mean, it was.
Did you reenact? Wasn't the shower scene the famous?
No,
one?
I did reenact Victoria Principal in the opening credits, walking down the ranch.
Yes.
I did.
Of course.
Yes, I'm a dork. It's fine. I love you, Grandma. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
What do you do first?
Yeah. I swam in the pool. Welcome back, dear friends. I want to say, I always say, stay connected with us. Well, people are so nice. As I mentioned, it was my birthday. Yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of our show. I got these lovely flowers and a card, thank you, sweetheart, from Cindy Floyd. Thank you so much for all of us here at The Jason Show celebrating our 5th anniversary. Thank you. You can stay connected with us on social media. Here's the address. Just search for Jason Show TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you have questions, go ahead and email us. Who knows, they could get answered on a future mailbox segment. Stay right there, everybody. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back after this. It's a beautiful thing. Welcome back, everybody. I was telling the crew and Shane, other than just being at the house at South Fork, my best delight, and I hope she's watching, is Sally at South Fork. She has been there for 23 years. She just has the greatest accent, and I loved her. And she had a little catchphrase every time she would point something out. She's like, "Okay, boys, we're going to take you to the house, and then we're just going to leave you alone." And they literally, Shane, I can't impress upon you enough. There was a security guard, and that's it. And the security guard was in the 2 buildings away. We literally had the mansion to ourselves for the day and then in the night. Anyway, so Sally's pointing everything out. Hi, Sally, if you're watching. And she'd go, da-da-da-da, da-da-da. It's a beautiful thing. Everything was a beautiful thing. So I texted her. I go, "Sally, could you say your catchphrase to me so I can play it?" So I'm going to put it on my mic, and let's see if you can hear it here. Here we go.
It's a beautiful thing.
There we go.
You do that
There's
well.
Sally, yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Every time she'd point something out, she's like, "That's where we keep the llamas. It's a beautiful thing. There's the mini ponies. It's a beautiful thing." By the way, don't go
Wait,
by.
they were mini ponies?
They had mini ponies, and she goes, "There's the mini ponies. There's the regular horses. There's our llamas. Don't go by them. They spit." And it was she's like, she's driving around on our golf cart before we could get into the house. She's like, "Okay, here's this. Here's where we have rodeos. Here's where JR's buried. He ain't really buried there. It's just for the show." And she just a delight. So if you get a chance, when the world returns to normal, or if you want to, I think Dallas, the city, is underrated. If you go, they do tours at South Fork Ranch. It's about 20 minutes outside of Dallas. It's real worth it. So thanks to my new family at South Fork. So yeah.
We're going to get Sally on the show?
We're going to get Sally on the show, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Because it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on the show, the toy guy is back. Chris Byrne joins us live with his picks for new toys for kids of all ages. That's tomorrow. Go out there and be yourself, everyone, because nobody can tell you're doing it wrong. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. It's a beautiful thing, and we'll see you tomorrow.
New addition to the podcast.
I know. That's the new ending just for Sally.